Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. As Steve gets back from Greece, Kayla is at her office, talking on the phone with Joey. Kayla gives her hubby a few kisses and then inquires about his travels. He informs her that Konstantin, Maggie's new acquaintance, has a new allergy to the truth. Chad and Stephanie argue in jest about Everett's attendance at Thanksgiving while they tidy up from Julie's dinner. Chad proposes flirtatiously that the kids would benefit from some alone time since they are staying there. Everett leaves to interview Doug and Julie, then comes back to interrupt them. Stephanie is needed to accompany him as he is currently heading to the paper to write it up. At home, when Sarah and Victoria drop by, Xander gorges himself on a huge turkey leg. Victoria's birth certificate, which now names him as the father, is given to him by Sarah. Xander feels moved. Sarah regrets that it took Victoria's abduction to make her understand that she wants him to be a part of their child's life. After Tate hosts Thanksgiving, Alex and Theresa grab coffee on the square. Her son's adjustment to life in Salem has thrilled her. She then inquires about Alex's relationship with Justin. Although Alex claims that things are awkward, they are very much in love. In relation to family, Alex would like to see how Maggie is doing. She must be shaken by Victoria's abduction. Theresa moves guiltily and says no when Alex asks her to go. Until she gives up, he persists. After Thanksgiving dinner, Maggie and Konstantin relax in the Kyriakis living room. He still feels bad for kissing Victoria, even though she labels him a hero once more for saving her. She reassures him that their relationship is going great. She's extremely appreciative of him for being a comfort to her. At the Horton house, Everett says that he needs Stephanie to write a reaction to the murder charge against their prominent columnist. Chad says it's easy. Leo received his just desserts. Everett responds, "It's not that clear-cut." Chad is furious and turns to Stephanie for support. She informs Chad that although she doesn't like Leo, it's her responsibility to repair the paper's damage. As Stephanie walks out with Everett, Chad fumes. Steve tells Kayla that he and John found out in Victor's office that Konstantin was required to repay the loan for his business, and that when he failed to do so, it strained their relationship, which contradicts Konstantin's account to the hilt. When Kayla tries to stand up for him, Steve says that all of his white lies don't add up. In particular, the falsehood that he and Victor are the closest of friends. They were supposedly hostile toward one another. Sarah says she's happy that co-parenting at his apartment is going well as she and Xander talk about it, and perhaps in the future. Xander asks if she wants to rekindle the relationship when she starts to ramble. Sarah says, "I'm open to the possibility," with nervousness. Since they nearly shared a kiss yesterday, she figures he is too. He believed that there was too much water under the bridge, even though there is undoubtedly still spark. She believes that since they are in a better situation and have a child, they ought to give it some thought. Xander is wearing his thinking cap while they talk. He gets closer. With an unpleasant shift, she says she has to leave for work. As she leaves, Sarah opens the door for Chad. Chad tells Xander, by himself, that he purchased Gwen's part of the paper. Xander understands that Chad still desires to fire Everett, but he refuses to comply because they are equal partners. Chad offers to accompany him in silence. Xander's portion of the earnings is also his to retain. Xander gives Everett credit for preventing the paper from failing. Once more, Chad lays out his demands. Xander will double his money if he fires Everett, and doesn't mention Chad. Stephanie and Everett, at The Spectator, create a press release endorsing Leo and Dimitri's assistance in Nicole's birth. Everett asks her to obtain his charger as soon as his laptop's battery runs low. She discovers a ring box as she searches through his suitcase. She opens the package to reveal an engagement ring, despite his best efforts to pretend it's just a beautiful contact lens case. Reluctantly, Everett acknowledges that he purchased it for her before to the mishap. Though he knew it was probably too soon, he had a deep-seated desire to live out the rest of his days with her. After learning about Chad, he knew he ought to have sold it, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. Stephanie tells him she's sorry, tears welling up in her eyes. He understands she was perfectly entitled to move on with her life. Feeling embarrassed, he proposes that they return to work so that she can bring Chad home. When they go to the Kyriakis estate, Theresa hugs Maggie and apologizes profusely for what transpired with Victoria. As Constantine enters, Maggie gives him credit for saving the young girl. Theresa gives an eye roll. Shaking his hand, Alex presents him to Theresa. According to Constantine, they are already acquainted. She watches nervously as he tells a falsehood about having given him directions once in the square. Steve suggests they talk to Maggie about their concerns with Constantine in Kayla's office. Since they're not positive, Kayla believes it to be harsh. "What are your thoughts on 90%? Steve queries. Kayla doesn't want to cause Maggie further stress. She advises Steve to let her family know so they can monitor the situation. Sarah enters. Sarah acknowledges that she had questions as well, but then Constantine saved Victoria from a kidnapper. This is after Steve tells Sarah about his misgivings. Steve describes that as quite practical. Sarah reports that Maggie saw the kidnapper, which Constantine was unable to fabricate. Steve remarks that he had a co-conspirator. When Stephanie gets home, Chad takes a nonchalant sip from his drink. Even though he was harsh on Everett, he still vows to give him another shot. At the paper, a reluctant Xander informs Everett that he must let him leave. Maggie and Alex go to the kitchen to get some refreshments, and Theresa is upset with Constantine for nearly exposing them. All Constantine wanted to do was enjoy himself. Theresa yells that she doesn't enjoy any of this. The way he is taking advantage of Maggie for her money sickens her. Constantine informs her that by pursuing Alex's inheritance, she is engaging in the same activity. Alex turns back to face his brow. Spoilers for the upcoming episode of Days of Our Lives on November 27 suggest that Steve Johnson and John Black will uncover additional complexities in Constantine Milianis's tale. While Black Patch is conducting some research in Greece, they will speak with some locals who have rather different accounts of Constantine's friendship with Victor Kyriakis. According to Days spoilers for the week of November 27, Steve and John will discover that Constantine's assertion regarding the loan Victor forgave was untrue. Additional spoilers reveal that Kyriakis demanded full payback for the funds donated to assist his friend in opening his eatery. As it happens, Victor actually saw Milianis as an opponent rather than a friend. John and Steve will get frightened by this, and it will snowball from there. Steve will let Kayla Johnson know what he's discovered, but she'll think there isn't enough proof. This will make him want to talk to Sarah Horton and find out what she thinks of Constantine. Sarah would say that after Milianis rescued baby Victoria from the abductor, all of her worries about Victor's former acquaintance vanished. After speaking with Sarah, Steve feels uneasy about something. At this point, he will begin to think that Constantine planned the baby kidnap in order to win Maggie and Sarah over and appear the hero. Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.